Good morning, everyone. And I think after that welcome, we should be really energized for the day with this genius young man whom I'm not going to, I think his music introduced himself. I have just got a little bit of a snippet, which I hope, Luca, you won't be too embarrassed about, because when I Googled you, we met Luca in the Cardigan Hall when Jeff had organized the ticket. It's normally a classical concert. And when we went there, he said, no, we are going to a boogie day. And I said, oh, what? And all sorts of characters were dressed up, and I thought, what have we come to here? But the minute they came on the stage, it was just magic. And there were 5 of them, and one was Luca. I think you were the youngest. And then I Googled him, and he's German too, of course. And then I found this. And I think, as we're talking about children and evolution, this might be quite an interesting slide. I think you're an absolute genius, and I've never heard playing like that before. And we've been to loads and loads and loads of concerts. Thank you so much, Luca. And of course, he'll be here this afternoon at the reception, and he'll be playing between 5 and 7. He's also a composer, and he does all sorts of magical stuff. So I think we have a lot of fun to come this afternoon after what might be, well, not might be, will be also very fun. No, I thought I was going to say might be a little bit more serious, but I think the fun is there as well. So, okay. Thank you, Luca. I just want to do welcomes, thank yous, and all these sort of things. And I have gained 2 minutes, which is good. I have 17 minutes altogether. And I have, where is he? Somebody here who's keeping me under control. So, welcome to everyone, and welcome to Phil. Phil Royal is one of our political advisors, and he will say a couple of words later. Lorna, who is the chair of the British Council for Therapeutic Interventions for Children, whose council keeps me and Jeff in. They audit us very carefully, and Lynn is part of that as well. I would also like to welcome Alan Clamp, who is the Chief Executive of the PSA, and the new Chief Executive, with whom I think we have established a quite harmonious relationship. And of course, then there is Professor Fraser Brown, who many of you will know, but he's our link tutor with LB, and without whose support, it would be much more difficult to deal with all the standards and university things and new students. I'm pleased to inform you that after years of fighting, Leeds Beckett has accredited 2 overseas venues, New Zealand and KL. And thank you for that. It means a lot to me, and we hope maybe in the future years you might accredit a few more overseas venues. Thank you for coming, everyone. Not only for those from the UK, but also from the 12 overseas countries and PTI's network seems to extend wider and wider, and the seeds are growing further and further. And I am going to tell you about these 12 countries because there's always something new and exciting back in there. So we have Cambodia, Hong Kong, Malaysia, USA, Egypt, Singapore, the Republic of China, Greece, Netherlands, France, and Germany.
I'm not told.
You are not to interrupt. You know how it is when you've heard us too. And I've only got 17 minutes left. So then I would welcome Paula Burrows, who has attended every single one of our conferences. And I'd like to thank her and come up here to receive a little present. Then I would like to mention our longest-standing 10 registrants, of whom 6 are here today. Thank you. Well, shall I tell you who they are, first of all? Now, maybe you remember Diana Udale. I taught her right at the beginning. That was 2001. And then we go on to Michelle Fussell. You are here somewhere? Hands up. Where are you? Come up. Oh, there you are. Yeah. Thank you. Then it's Lynn. Yeah. Then most of you will know Susan Atkins, who is not here today, but she has been a course director for many of you. Then it's Evelyn. Then Anne Ambler. I think Russell comes somewhere in the middle there, but he hasn't, I don't know where you are, Russell, but you seem to be turning up quite a lot of the time, so I thought I'd put you in here because I remember teaching you in Fernhill. Then there's Paula Williams, and that is a surprise to me because she's in your Cambridge area. And then there's Paula, and then there's Eunice, who is doing the sand. So there are 10 longest-standing members. Thank you for Evelyn for organizing the conference workshop presenters, and that has helped Jenny an awful lot. Thank you to Stephanie, wherever she is, for her stalwart dealing with the exam board. She has also revolutionized our MA. I just wish there were more of you joining her in that stage. Now, above all, I must thank Ginny, Bill, and Emma. Emma, who is their daughter, joined us a few months ago and has taken over the organization of venues, and that she has brought an enormous expertise into the organization from, tell them what you did before you did this. It's all, I don't understand it at all, but she organizes everything all over the world. And when I came day before yesterday, she had a conference folder that by the minute had everything there. And then she had sheets for everyone. And, unfortunately, Jenny fell downstairs and has a bad leg. But Jenny sat there and said, box 6, 5 plates, 2 biros. And it just all happened. It was the most marvelous experience because I didn't have to do anything. So I'm really, really grateful to Jenny and Bill, and you both must come here, because most of the things that Jeff and myself have done over the years ourselves, not until so long ago, they have taken over. Jenny is the director of operations, and Bill of all three companies, APAC, PTUK, and PTI, together with Bill, who is our director of finance, and who's taken over all the financial dealings with all three companies, us personally as well. And I think the course directors have noticed the difference between their way they have to send in invoices, and they have relieved us too of the daily running of the organizations, and this has given us much more time to bring the profession even further forward. I will come to that later when I talk about the PTUK highlights in our achievements. So, Billy and Gemma and Air, just the family come here. And now, I had suggested yesterday, and Jenny refused, and I think it would have been such fun. Lorna has a little electric scooter. I thought it would be brilliant if Jenny came to the stage from the back in this electric scooter, parked here with a balloon or something. But she refused. So there we are. Oh, careful. No, it's right. There as well. Yeah, I don't want to. You must match that. So, I'm actually good. I've now had 15 minutes left, and I would like to use this time to tell you about how busy Jeff and myself have been this year to open new doors for PTUK and with us to your registrants. First one, we were very disappointed with both the content and the way the consultation was conducted for the Green Paper, Transforming the Children and Young People Mental Health. So we decided, proactive as we are, to join with the support of Fraser, the APPG. Now, APPG is an all-party parliamentary group for fit and healthy childhood. And this was the first step to us becoming a major contributor to the report on children's mental health. Secondly, we then sponsored, or PTUK then sponsored, and Jeff was a major contributor, to a report on praxis-based evidence beyond the Green Paper. Everyone throws these words, everything has to be evidence-based, and they don't actually know what it means. So Jeff tried to clarify that. From these two reports, Jeff distilled 7 opportunities and 7 way forwards, because you know Theresa May, who is no longer, but the government has actually promised 2.1 billion to go towards mental health. And what we wanted to make sure is that, small as we are, but outspoken as we are, that money is spent properly and not wasted, like, you know, with the National Health and all these things we know. So 6 of these 7 principles were incorporated in the Child Mental Health Charter, produced by Helen Clark, one of our political advisors, and she's the lead author of this APPG report. Following the launch reception of the report in the House of Commons, again, PTUK sponsored that, and a number of you attended that. Hands up, who was there? Anybody here? Yes. And that was received really enthusiastically by the MPs present, several of whom had been met by our registrants and had then been invited with the registrants to come to that reception. So that then it was then decided that this charter should be launched, and it was launched, and PTUK took over the leadership of this campaign. And then everything really started moving. Shortly after that, the early Dacian motion was launched by Steve McKay MP. So this has drawn now the support of 46 MPs who are also raising questions in the Houses of Commons. And I mean, it's a system that you have to learn to go back into the medieval ages for, but it somehow seems to work. But we also need wider support. Hands up, who has signed the Child Mental Health Charter? Yeah, well done, because most of your colleagues have not. Yeah, I have been, I'm coming to that later apparently, but I'm saying it now. I have been so disappointed with the support of the child. I'm not allowed to do this. With the support of the Child Mental Health Charter. We have 1,600 registrants in the UK. If each of those has 5 friends, family, something through the media, we should have 8,000 by now. Or at least 6, if my calculation is right, but not 1,100. Why is this? Why are we not spending 2 minutes on signing this Child Mental Health Charter? Why are we not doing it? It's in your best interest. If the money comes, it comes for you and jobs for you. Okay, I've said my bit. Who of you have contacted their GP? Hopefully not GP, their MP. Yeah, and a few of you who've done it have done it quite successfully. Please, you all need to do that. You all need to get your MPs to support the Charter. And it is easy to get an appointment because they must see you. It's the law. The more difficult part is, of course, persuading them to then do something. And I think the best way forward for that, if you've got an appointment with an MP coming, contact Jeff and he will give you a briefing. He's got that all ready for you because we are also enthusiastic about play therapy. And actually, this is not the time for play therapy. This is the Child Mental Health Charter, and play therapy will come out of that. Yeah. So a lot of you spend time on discussing play therapy, which is wonderful, but then they don't get to the Charter. Yeah. So you must really make sure to follow Jeff's brief. It works very well. So please go to the Child Mental Health Charter. Who's been there lately to see every day there is an update on what is happening in the House of Parliament? And Phil and Helen are helping us to do that. It's amazing what's happening. And what our aim is to get the Child Mental Health Charter into the next Queen's speech. And if we mention that, manage that, then we are way forward. But then the work really starts. But, we need the reform of the 1983 Mental Health Charter, 1983 Mental Health Charter. But it has to have children first in there, because children are our future. I think you can use these 6 principles now, regardless in which country you are, because it has the power of the APPG behind. And they have unanimously approved the 6 principles. So use them. That's what they are there for. But revise them by going onto the website, because I even can't tell you what they all 6 are. but they're really, really useful. We also please be aware that the Department of Health, and we've seen them lately, and we were a bit disappointed with them, but anyway, the Department of Health recognizes our integrative holistic model of play therapy as an intervention. And so no National Health Trust should refuse to consider play therapy. In addition, very importantly, the Department of Health see local clinical commission groups as an essential source of funding. That is where you need to go. That is where you will get the funding from. The local commissioning groups, really, really important. So, PTUK do not want to hear any more moaning about lack of funding for play therapy services or recognition of play therapy. We've done our bit. It is over to you now to meet your MPs, to present your case to the local clinical commission groups, which we have been actually urging you to do over the last 2 years, but not very successfully. Start it now. We all of us need to join together to make this happen. There cannot be one of us who opts out, because we are doing this for the children and their future. That's what you've trained for. So get engaged, please. It will not happen otherwise. Right. Number 2. Last year, the PSA recommended that we reviewed our risk management standards in conjunction with the British Council. Jeff, on behalf of PTUK, as usual, saw this as a great opportunity to continue PTUK's lead in the psychological therapy professions. An extensive study was produced, and with the full help and support of the British Council, and Lynn was involved in that. Please stand up and take a bow. That was 89 pages. That was a big piece of work, took nearly 6 months, I want you to know. This was presented to the PSA in December, and their reaction was fantastic. One of the outcomes is going to be a change in the PSA matrix, risk matrix terminology, and I think this is really important, from risk seeking to opportunity seeking. What a change. Jeff presented these policies then at the PSA annual seminar for accredited registers, and this reflects PTUK's philosophy and a continuous excellent relationship we hope we will continue with the PSA and the British Council. Turning to APSC, we revalidated our postgraduate certificate, diploma and MA with Leeds Beckett for the next 6 years, and thanks to Fraser again for his continuous wisdom and support. 4, APSC continues to expand. We now have 14 venues in the UK, 2 of which are new, one in London Pimlico and one near Newcastle. Overseas, we now have 18 venues, and the latest additions are China and India. Where else? Rochelle. Yeah. 5, I'm extremely excited and looking forward to this year's summer school in France, which again has record numbers, but of the students, what really delights me most is that France seems to have become a melting pot of the world's training people and of the international participation. This year, these students are from 31 countries. And I will read them out to you because I'm so excited about it. UK, Ireland, Malta, South Africa, Hungary, Japan, Saudi, Greece, Switzerland, USA, South Korea, Israel, Myanmar, Serbia, Italy, Nepal, Pakistan, Cambodia, Netherlands, Rwanda, Croatia, Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Poland, Mozambique, Lebanon, Thailand, Egypt, and Laos. Can you imagine that? Is that not wonderful? All these seeds coming and wanting to start to grow, and usually taking 5 years before then something happens in their countries. It's amazing, I think. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening.